So now we're gonna see using arrays to analyze survey results. In this example, we're gonna use arrays to summarize data collected in a survey. We're gonna consider a following problem. 20 students were asked to rate on a scale of 1 to 5 the quality of the food in the student cafeteria, with 1 being awful and 5 being excellent. We're gonna place the 20 responses in an integer array and determine the frequency of each rating. Okay, so this is a typical array processing application. We wish to summarize the numbers of responses of each type. Array responses is a 20-element integer array containing the student survey responses. The last value in the array is intentionally an incorrect response, that is going to be 14. We're going to see that. And the 20 students were asked to rate the scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being awful and 5 excellent. So 14 is not a valid value. When a Java program executes, array element indices are checked for validity. All indices must be greater than or equal to 0 and less than the length of the array. Any attempt to access an element outside that range of indices results in a runtime error that's known as an array index out of bounds exception. So now that we have a little bit of that theory, we're gonna create that. So we're gonna create a new folder, right click it, and we are gonna type in code space that. Code space that. We're gonna open it in Visual Studio Code, and let me see. We are gonna go here into the file, and we are gonna name it. Student poll. So it's gonna be like that. Is student poll. Okay, with the extension .java. Okay, so we are gonna have the public class. We're gonna have the public class student poll. We're gonna open curly braces. Okay, student poll. Okay, make sure you use camel notation. Student poll, that's fine. 1 2 3. And now we're gonna have our main method, public static void main. Now we're gonna have this integer array, and it's gonna be of type integer, and the name is gonna be responses, like that. We're gonna open curly braces, and we can end this statement with a semicolon. Okay, but we have this 20 element array that we are gonna store it or assign it to this array variable named responses, that is of type integer, and the numbers are going to be 1 2 5. So we are the students are grading the cafeteria between 1 being awful and 5 being excellent. So we have 1 2 5. These are valid numbers. 4 3 5 2 1. Let me see. 3 3 1 4 3 3 3 2. Let me see. Now we're gonna have 3 3 2, and finally 14. As you can see, this is not a valid number because we are grading it from 1 being awful and 5 being excellent. So 14 is not. It's an invalid number. Okay, so now we're gonna have this integer array. You do it like this. You type the type, in this case is type integer, and then we do brackets. Now we're gonna name it frequency. Okay, and in this variable frequency we are gonna store this new integer, this array of 6 elements of type integer. So new integer. Okay, semicolon at the end. This is an array of frequency counters. We are gonna have frequency responses, that's fine. Now we're gonna use the for loop. We're gonna have the for loop, and inside of the parentheses we're gonna have this integer, and it's gonna be answers, and we're gonna initialize it to 0. Okay, as long as the answers as long as the answer, not answer, just answer, as long as the condition is as long as the answer is less than the responses, that length responses, because we're using this array variable. Okay, we're gonna increment the answer. We're gonna increment the answer by 1. We open the curly braces of the for loop, and now we're gonna have the try. Okay, so now we're gonna have try. We're gonna open again curly braces, pre-increment the array variable frequency, and inside of the brackets we're gonna have in the responses, and inside of the brackets of the responses we're gonna pass in the answer. Okay, and this is a statement, so ends up with a semicolon. This is the try. So now below we're gonna have our catch. Okay, so we're gonna open parentheses, and now we're gonna have in the array uppercase array, just the A, array index, array index out of bounds exception. Okay, and then the lowercase letter e. Now we're gonna open the curly braces, and we're gonna have the system that out at println, and here we pass in the lowercase letter e. Now we're gonna have the system that out at println, but this case is gonna be format, and we are gonna have some arguments here. The first argument is gonna be, let me see, 1 2 3 4 responses. We're gonna open brackets, percent sign, and lowercase letter d for a number or a decimal. And we are gonna set it to percent sign lowercase letter d to the next line. That would be the first argument. The second argument would be the answer, and finally the third argument would be the responses, and we are passing the answer like that. And yeah, I already have the semicolon at the end. We can save it, and this would be the end of the catch, and this would be the end of the try. We have the try and catch. Okay, so we continue. Here this is the for loop, so we're gonna go outside of the for loop, and now we're gonna have our system that out that print format. Again, it's gonna be print format, and our first argument is gonna be the percent sign, the lowercase letter s for string. We're gonna have percent sign 10 s string, and then to the next line. The second argument is gonna be the rating. Okay, the rating, just without the double quotes. And finally the third argument is gonna be the frequency. Let me see, no, it has to be inside double quotes, this one. Yeah, like that, double quotes. Okay, so yeah, now we're gonna have our final for loop, and inside of the parentheses of this for loop we're gonna have this variable named rating, like that, rating, and we're gonna initialize it to 1, not 0 but 1, and as long as the rating is less than the frequency, as long as it's less than the frequency, that length, okay, we're gonna increment the rating by 1. Okay, so 1 2 3, we're gonna have the system that out that print format, and this time we're gonna have as our first argument, we're gonna have the percent sign 6 lowercase letter d, percent sign 10 d as for decimal or number, and then to the next line, so backslash lowercase letter m. Now we're gonna have in the rating, we're gonna have in the frequency inside of the brackets of the frequency, we're passing in the rating. Save it, and yeah, that would be the end of this. Would be the end of main, and this would be the end of class student poll, like that. and we have our try and catch, and let's see how it works. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, since we have this number 14, is gonna catch it. So we have it here. This is out of bounds because we only have from 1 to 5, as 1 being awful and 5 being excellent. This value 14 or 6, 7, all the numbers between 1 included and 5 included are valid, but 14 would be invalid. That's the reason that we have here the java.length array index out of bounds exception, index 14 out of bounds for length 6 responses. This is a 20 element array, but the index 19, so the element 20 is the index 19, is it has the value 14, so that's the reason it's grabbing it here. And then the rating we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the frequency we have 3, 4, 8, 2, and 2, so it's working.